Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello and welcome to the Red Lasered Water Guy Show. We're here tonight with my guest, Mr. Rick Bergen. He's the CEO of the company and the gentleman responsible for this amazing technology that I keep talking about. As everybody here knows, I'm here to help you, help yourself, help your body heal itself naturally. And that's what we're all about with PureVibranz altogether. And I've been with them for about a little over 14 years. And just pretty amazing the way the technology just come together. And so I've got a few questions here. I want to introduce Rick Bergen, the CEO. So, and then we'll get right into it here. So I'm going to find out what inspired you, Rick, to start PureVibranz, and how did you come to discover the 0-point technology?
Well, it's an interesting story, Joe, and so. You know, as far as what inspired me to get started with it in this creation process was as a business consultant, I got hired in 2001 by a couple of doctors to set up a company for them, a direct sales company. And they had this bizarre products. But at the time, I thought these are, kind of strange, like it's a bag of crystals, and what am I supposed to do with this? And essentially, what occurred out of that was that I ended up getting hired by them, and working with them for 3 years, and learning really all about this technology, and saw some amazing things occur with people using the technology. And that kind of is where it got started. And really, it was an interesting process because it was almost like I had done this before at some time.
Kind of a deja vu, huh?
Yeah. So I thought, okay, let's just see where things go. And actually, there was another 6 years. No, I'm going to say 2010, about almost 6 years before I actually started the company. But really, it was working with those doctors and this technology early on that got my interest. And in about 2007, I kind of started doing some personal research on the products, and on another product that was very similar, that had the same kind of results, and in some cases greater results. And that's really where it got started, was back then, 2007, 2008, 9, 10. So that was the beginning. And the second part of that question was?
How did you come to discover the 0-point technology that you use?
Okay, so that was really all, that's the whole story right there. That's where I came to discover it, and have gone from there, basically.
So you talk a lot about, or we do, about human blueprint frequencies. So what's the purpose of adding human blueprint frequencies to the lasers, the pendants, the frequency discs, the lotions, the new hydro water product?
Well, the entire concept was to have products that people could use on a daily basis that actually delivered more quantum information, frequencies, vibration, than the base product itself would have delivered. So we're using products to deliver this quantum information that matches the human body in blueprint frequencies. And so getting started with pendants and the lasers and different products that we would use. And now we have a lot more that we would use on a daily basis and the like, but have had a whole set of additional frequencies, vibrations, or, we refer to it really as information because that's what it is, into the body. And how do we get them there, without changing too many habits?
It seems to be difficult for a lot of people. So I tell people we give them a shortcut. I tell them everything we do with the PureVibranz products you can do with your mind. But until you can do it with your mind, we give you a shortcut. Just put it on, wear it, push the button and point the light. So we kind of simplify it. So where do the frequencies come from, or how do you determine what frequencies you're adding?
Well, it's interesting because different things show up at different times, right? So I'll be at an event or something, and someone will introduce me to a product, and I'll find out that it's got certain frequencies in it that we could use that would make sense, in our products. And sometimes I'll get more information about their product and how it's used and how I might access this quantum information from their products. Sometimes it's just an intuition that says, yeah, this is good. And then we go about to the next steps of verifying that it's good. And it's going to work in the application that we want to put it in.
Excellent. What how do the lasers, the pendants, frequency disc, lotions, how do they work to entrain the body's frequencies higher for self-healing?
Well, as we begin to get a better understanding of this quantum space we live in, and we find out that, and this isn't new information, we find out that the energy field around our body actually is what creates our body, which is kind of strange. Because most people go, well, wait a minute. You mean what's outside of me creates me? Well, yes. As strange as that sounds. And, I think it was Tesla. I think it was Tesla that said that, or
Einstein. Einstein said,
Albert Einstein said that a long time ago. And now quantum physics is actually proving it, right? So we're actually proving that statement is so. And, and because of that, the way frequencies work is that we come in contact with them at some level, and then the vibration of it entrains, connects to, resonates with our own energies, our own field that then goes into the body, or perhaps if we're consuming something, because everything has frequency, right? Everything's vibrating. We take vitamins for the vibrations, the frequencies, the information that's in them. We eat food for the information that's in it. And really at the quantum level, it's all energy. And this whole physical explanation is interesting, but not really what's going on at the base level of our existence, which is really this exchange of vibration, this exchange of information at a quantum level that begins to resonate with the body. Now, if you've got food that you're eating that's incoherent, that doesn't have frequencies that match the body, well, then you're going to cause the body to resonate at a different frequency maybe an organ or system, which begins to then break down the communication, which is why it's important to make sure that, to the best of your ability and knowledge, that you're consuming things, coming in contact with things that match the human body, because anything that doesn't is going to bring your life force, your energy down, and anything that does is going to bring it up, i.e. healthy foods as opposed to not so healthy foods, vitamins, supplements, drugs, right? The medical community's answer. So, that entrainment is happening all the time. Okay, it's a constant thing going on between us and the field. So, I think that answers the question.
Well, it's not necessarily an easy question to answer, but
well, it's like a tuning.
Everything is energy.
It's like the tuning fork theory, where which isn't a theory, it's a fact. The tuning fork will get to be vibrating at the same pace, right, of a similar tuning fork in the area that's vibrating. It'll actually cause the other one to vibrate. So, and that's really how we all interact in our reality. We're in this constant state of resonating, good or bad. The connection is happening, and hopefully we're taking action to have the good news most of the time.
Well, you can actually feel that vibration, when you walk into a room, or you meet somebody. A lot of times you have that feeling that this, we don't have anything in common, or we're not resonating together, or just the opposite, love at first sight, is a resonance of frequencies and information.
No, that's so true. No, and I believe that's so true, because people have those experiences, where without knowing, and animals are the best for this, because an animal knows in most cases immediately, whether they resonate, whether you're putting off something coherent or incoherent. There you can see the effect on them.
Yeah, they either wag their tail or they growl, one of the two. So basically, we're kind of, the way I see it is PureVibranz is kind of taking the health and wellness industry from the Newtonian physics, where they use the physical to change the physical, using prescription drugs, etc., surgeries, into the quantum physics of using frequencies to help the body heal itself. And so,
well,
that makes,
and that really is what's going on. But the funny thing is that, when you look beyond Newtonian physics, you get the quantum.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really the quantum stuff that's causing the effect, as opposed to the physical Newtonian understanding, of what's happening. And of course, that's, again, this is not new. It's really old information, but some of it really society's in some cases not ready for. In other cases, it's outside of our realm of understanding, so we immediately discount it.
There's that change thing again. People are not ready for change. Okay, exactly. I can't believe it. Believe it. So, using frequencies in the quantum field, what advantages does this technology offer to those who use it consistently?
Well, that's a big list. But one of the things is that when you're working strictly or mostly, because we're not just working with the quantum, because we're using physical products to deliver the additional information, but things happen a lot quicker. So, for instance, we noticed that with the products, with all of our products, it instantly increases the microcirculation, in the body. So if you're increasing the microcirculation immediately, you're bringing more oxygen to the area. And in most cases, pain, maybe all cases, pain is from a lack of oxygen, right? And so, getting that oxygen there right now is going to make you feel better right now, as opposed to going the physical route of, perhaps taking a pain reliever or putting some kind of pain cream on that will work maybe over 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, or the right now. That's it. It really is healing in the moment. It's because we're just bringing it into the correct vibration to restore the communication, so the body can begin to heal itself in a right now mode. That's really the what's so amazing about it, is being able to get something to bring this communication back, so that the body begins to heal itself at this accelerated rate.
Yeah, that's why I love the red laser, the red and infrared laser so much. It starts working in seconds and minutes. And so that's how, would you say that's how the technology promotes self-healing then, is like with the red laser, and, which is my favorite, is, in the first 30 seconds, you get about 30% more life force energy, you get better microcirculation and more oxygen. And that's what the body needs to heal, no matter what the medical label is or the label is. So how do you ensure the products are safe and effective?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that, we're never doing any harm. Okay. And like, there's some organization that thinks that's a good idea, and I do too, although they don't seem to always practice it, but be that as it may. So once we put together a formula, we put together a product, or we put together a delivery system, whether it's with the laser or with water or with a lotion, or with a toothpaste, once we put it together, then we begin to do some testing, and we begin to do some testing, what I call in-house. So personally, with a small group, few people maybe, and we then do blood work. So we'll do blood work to see, okay, so how does this affect the physical? How does it affect the blood in particular? Does it change anything? And that, of course, is where we see this microcirculation increase, literally within moments. And then we test the field. So we're testing the energetic field using a gas discharge visualization camera, which was actually created by Dr. Kratkov, a quantum physicist in Russia in the early 90s, who developed this equipment based on quantum physics and taking what is known as Kirlian photography and really digitizing it, so that you could see what's going on in your energetic field around the body, which then translates into the body. And we want to see, how is it affecting the field? Because our focus really is the field, because that's where it all starts. So if we can bring resonance into the field that's coherent, that matches the physical body, then we know we're going to get positive change in the physical body. So we'll do the gas discharge visualization camera, by various practitioners, naturopaths. Dr. Beverly Kuhn's a great example in Santa Fe, New Mexico, who does a lot of our stuff. And so we're making sure that personally using it, we notice results. And then we do the blood work, and then we do the energy work, and then sometimes we'll do some the infrared photography, the
Thermal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do the thermal to see how that plays out. And sometimes we'll test, we'll do DNA testing to see, is it affecting the DNA? Now, once we get to that stage, now we move on and we do a bigger, you might call it a study, with somewhere between 20 and 30 people typically, sometimes a little more, over 60 to 90 days using the product. So what are their experiences? What are their reactions? Is this product actually going to serve? Is it going to have enough effect to make sense? Or do we need to tweak it a little? Because sometimes we need to tweak it. Sometimes we need to add more information. Sometimes we need to change an ingredient, add more, add less to the physical form. So once that happens and we get through that testing and make sure that it's all, working fine, then we'll actually put it out into the marketplace. And the really good news is that beyond the physical that's in the product, the frequencies, that we're delivering, you can't use it per se too much. So the physical products, ingredients, perhaps you could overuse, but in most cases, that's not going to be the case. You can't use too much of the laser, for instance. The body's only going to take on the information, so much of the information. And beyond that, you're not going to have any effect. So you don't have a concern per se about overdosing.
Okay. Have you ever found any adverse effects to using the 0 point technology?
Actually, I haven't. Now that all depends on how you define negative effects. Because we have noticed that, like with some of our pendants, that really assist you in coming into your own, right? In becoming sovereign, if you will, in and of yourself, which shows up like a lot more confidence. And occasionally in a relationship, when one party shows up with a lot more confidence than they used to have, there can be some incoherence that shows up. So, I think that's good news, but not everybody agrees. And sometimes it it ends in some level of change in the relationship. Mm-hmm. But I would say outside of that, on a physical basis of what's occurring, I haven't seen anything. But a lot of great emotional changes.
Yeah, I was going to say with frequencies, one of the things I love about the experiences and all the testimonials I get is, the emotional release that people have gained over and above the physical, which seems to relieve the physical. So would you speak about our emotional clearing set, for instance, and how the frequencies affect emotionally as well as physically.
Yeah. Well, there's a theory, and I actually think is true. Um, that that physical dis-ease in most cases is rooted in an emotional incoherence. So, we have things that occur in our life that our perception places it in this extremely negative place, right? And we know that anything can happen. And if you have 3 or 4 people watching what's happening, they could all have a different experience. They could all have a different experience based on their past life, their up to that point, and maybe even past lives. And so that incoherent experience, creates an incoherence in an organ or system in the body, which then begins to break down the communication in that organ or system in the body. And as that occurs, then we eventually have what we call a dis-ease, right? Dis-ease, which is really just an incoherence and incoherent frequencies coming from an emotional experience leading to a physical experience, which is why, we find using, for instance, our Orion series blends and our emotional clearing set can really change lives, not just at an emotional level, because if the physical is tied to the emotional and you just deal with the physical, you're not going to solve the problem, but you will get to have maybe a lifetime of medications. Because, Western medicine has so many things that can't be cured. Okay. But we know at the quantum level, there's no such thing. You change the frequency, you change the experience, you change the physicality at that level. So many times people end up finding out that although many of our products do amazing things on a physical level, the pain relief and headaches go away and back pain and all that wonderful stuff, but if it keeps occurring, then we begin to understand that, oh, wait, it's a physical reaction to an emotional experience. And there's nothing more powerful on a frequency level than our emotions, and love and hate and anger and fear. And, all those things are really incoherent frequencies that end up in our field / into our physicality. And the results, of course, are disease. So dealing with the emotional side is so important, and things like the emotion code, which I know you're aware of, and understanding that if we can clear that incoherent vibration out of our field that we are creating, and that is really the bottom line, is we are creating, especially when we tend to live in it, like constantly reminding ourselves of how bad it was.
Live in it and relive in it and relive in it. Yeah. You got to change your story.
Yeah. So, one of the other things that we found is that the emotional clearing opportunity gives you a new perspective. When you're using the emotional clearing tools. In fact, there's one of those going on this evening. When you're using these tools for the emotional clearing, that physical things get cleared in the process. And the experience of it is very interesting. And I've done it a lot, right? Because I have my stuff. And what's interesting is that it's not like the memory's gone, but your experience of the memory's gone. There's no longer an energetic imprint that's causing incoherence in your experience. And that is so valuable for us at a living life daily level. So
we kind of take the charge off of it by clearing the cellular memory, would you say?
yeah,
And then the emotional charge is gone. The memory's there, but there's no charge on it.
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and some people even have trouble remembering the event.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I've had that happen many times too. I just say, okay, now remember the event. And they're like, I can't really remember the event anymore. And it's almost like, in a relationship, spousal especially, where we're arguing and then we realize, well, wait a minute, what are we arguing about? That happened.
I understand. So, so one of the things that I found, and one of the favorite tools I have are the basic pendants, because they seem to reduce the physical stress in the body. Because the way I understand it, you've been able to figure out what the parasympathetic frequencies are for the body, and put those in some of our products. So would you speak to that?
Yeah, actually, and that, many of the parasympathetic frequencies are in many of our products. Actually, most of our products.
Yep.
And so the pendants are a great way to, you don't have to think about it, right? You just put it on. It's passive, but it's active. So it's not something you have to constantly do. You just put it on in the morning and it does its thing. And the other cool thing about the pendants is that you can use it on a physical area of discomfort. So typically, we're just wearing it and it's doing its thing. But, we have a spot. We have a muscle, a pain somewhere. And by putting the pendant on there, it will actually cause, again, first of all, it's going to cause the increase in the microcirculation. So we're bringing the oxygen to the area. And then also, in many cases, it's relaxing. It's going to that parasympathetic and causing it to relax so that the body can really begin to heal itself.
So it comes back to the better microcirculation, more oxygen from a different point of view from let's say the laser. So
yes,
using a passive frequency more so than an active or a dynamic frequency.
A passive tool within it's active. So we're not lasering at the moment per se. We're just wearing it.
Okay.
And it's having that effect.
Okay. How have the products evolved since you first started the company? Has there been an evolution?
That's a great question. And one of my things, if you will, is it's always about how do I make this better? So not only how do I find another delivery system that people can use to get this information into their field, thus into their physicality, but how can I improve what I already have? How can I advance the advanced technology? And I refer to it as cutting edge ancient technology because, again, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. And we're finding out that, some of the things that we couldn't believe existed, like how did they make the pyramids? Right? Obviously, they had some pretty good technology and things like that to this day, in many cases, baffle us. But we're beginning to learn about how that works and why it works. So in that understanding, we're in this constant state of evolution as human beings. And the frequencies of everything is changing. So the vibration of the earth shifting, the Schumann resonance is shifting. And as these frequencies, vibrations change, we become more receptive to higher vibration. And as we become more receptive to these higher vibrations for wellness, that's where I'm led to. That's where I'm led to find this additional information, these additional physical products in some cases to add to what we already have. That's going to add more information or vibration for wellness. So it's in a constant state. We're just like we're in a constant state of evolution. The universe is in a constant state of evolution with all these frequencies you can see behind me. The products are in a constant state of evolution because, I've got to keep up. I've got to keep up with the need and keep advancing it so that we're on the cutting edge all the time with these advancements, because I think that's what's needed. And I see the results, changing as time goes on. And that's what we're all about.
Mm-hmm. That's what I love about it when I do expos and lecturing and, around the country. It's like, it only takes 30 seconds or so for people to get a result that's positive, feel better, pain gone in 2 to 3 minutes. I had a lady walk into an expo on a cane with her ankle hurting real bad. I worked on her for about a total of 8 minutes. We talked for a little while and she took off. And I looked over and her cane was still laying there. It was about 4 hours before she came back and got it. And there's nothing better than the experience to help people learn, what we really got and what we got our hands on. So I kind of want to shift now to, what I'm all about with the radio show here and the TV show is red lasered water, because that's a delivery system that to me is going to have the best and fastest result, because it's all about hydration. I've heard that 90% of people's problems start with dehydration. And so kind of explain a little bit how the our hydro combo works, and then how it works with the laser to give people the best water on the planet. They can carry it with them.
Well, the hydro combo is another amazing feat of magic. So, and it's not really magic. And many times people think our products are magic because they do things like now. But the hydro combo, what attracted me to it was that it doesn't just deal with the physical. So it deals with the physical, which is going back to nature. Again, we're all about going back to nature. So it changes the water just like nature. And through this vortexing, okay, just like nature, the eddies in a stream that are spinning from coming off the rocks and so on and so forth, are how nature cleans it, right? And then the vortexing also helps to clear the memory, and it also microclusters, which essentially is changing from 13 clusters per molecule in the water down to 3, 4, 5. So now the less clusters makes it smaller, which means the cell wall can absorb it more effectively. So that's the nature part, again, back to nature. And then what's also happening is that there's a quantum part of this that's also occurring with the product, where it's bringing in life force, energy, chi, prana, bovis, into the water at the same time. It's charging the water with this additional information. Again, that also occurs in nature, but this is this is at my sink. This is through my shower, right? This is from my water bottle. So that's one thing that's occurring with the water. And then now when we take the laser and we add that whole nother level of information being delivered into the water, changes again. So now you're taking this natural waterfall type water, and you're adding the red and infrared, far infrared, like we get from the sun, again, back to nature, into the water, along with this whole additional set of frequencies that's programmed in the laser through the lens using things like sacred geometry, the octahedron, which matches cellular structure in the body, with the Tesla coils around the octahedron to spread the information and gather more information. The crystal lens, it's programmed with these additional frequencies that we're delivering through the light at the same time. So it's really taking it to water and anything else to a whole nother level. I find that red wine is amazing with a little run through the portable hydro combo and lasered. So there you go. Cheap wine changes. And someone else we know did something like this with just water. So why not?
Everything is energy vibrating at a frequency. And so Einstein said back in the 30s that future medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. So the future's here right now. And one of the things that Dr. Doug Wallace says that all aging is simply too many dysfunctional mitochondria in our cells. And the mitochondria are what produces the life force energy in our cell. And so he says if there's not enough energy in that cell for it to do its work, that's where aging starts. And one of the things that the red infrared laser does in seconds is optimize the mitochondria, activate it to where it gives about 30% more life force energy into the blood in 30 seconds. Okay. And so that's the start of not only anti-aging, but reverse aging. For instance, my eyes. I wore glasses for 52 years, nearsighted in one eye, farsighted in the other, astigmatism in both. And at the expos about 5-6 years ago, people would say you can't shine that red laser in your eyes. And so I started shining the red laser back and forth across in my eyes to demonstrate it was harmless. And then all of a sudden I didn't need reading glasses anymore. So I kept demonstrating it that way. And then I didn't need daytime glasses. And a couple of years ago, it was like, I don't need glasses at night either. And I just renewed my driver's license last August. They actually took the requirement for corrective lens off of my glasses. So the body can heal and rebuild anything that's been done to it if you give it the right frequencies and get out of its way. So would you want to address that a little bit?
Yeah. You pretty much covered it right there, but again, so and people would think, okay, so that must be magic. Your eyes got better after all these years. I know that the ophthalmologists and doctors are like, no, that's not possible, but you've already proven otherwise. But the other amazing thing is it validates all of this is, when you see something like a wound close, right? And really, when you begin to understand at the quantum level what's going on, you get that a cut really is a vibration change that causes a disconnect in the mitochondria, and they kind of curl up like a hedgehog, and they stop communicating, and then we're bleeding. And something as simple as our laser on there just causes it to relax and begin to communicate again and produce ATP and ADP. And the healing starts. The body has now got the information it needs to immediately begin to heal itself. And you know that I've validated this many times. And I know you, you have also. You know, we go out of our way to prove that this works.
Yes, I've got a video on my YouTube channel, which is simply youtube.com/the & the red laser guy. And it actually shows the it's cellular repair in the moment. It actually shows that in 6 minutes, the bleeding stopped, and then in 12 minutes, you could see it stitching back together. Now, the other thing that happens is it takes the trauma out of a new injury in 30 to 45 seconds, and there's no swelling. Bleeding stops in a third of the time. So with this particular cut, I was painting my bedroom. The downtime was only 33 minutes, and I was back painting my bedroom again, walking on the foot that had a cut of about 1.25 inches up and about a 1/2 inch in. Most people would have gone to the hospital and got stitches. And with our products, I was back painting my bedroom again in 33 minutes, and you can't hardly find a scar on my foot. So that's what we're talking about here is, frequencies create everything. And so when you get the frequency right, it creates it right. If a muscle is healthy, it vibrates at a specific frequency. If it's hurting, it's vibrating lower than that. So we infuse the higher frequency in, the lower frequency will always entrain up. And that's when the magic happens, which is communication.
Well, yeah. And it's, and I always like to describe it like, we're the dial on your radio. So, you've got, you're between stations and you've got all this static going on, which may look like many different things, a headache, a backache, a neck ache, bleeding, black and blue, all kinds of things is what the static looks like. And we introduce the information that matches, we dial it in to the right station, vibration, frequency, and all of a sudden that begins to change. And the body begins to heal itself the way God intended, naturally. Welcome to PureVibranz.
That's the way it works. And so, we, like I said, I've been with Rick for a little over 14 years, and we've had a ball, mainly because of the feedback from everybody, that uses the products and helps us test the products, gives us feedback to help improve the products. I mean, it's just, it's really been a blessing, all the way around. So I want to thank you, Rick, for being on the show with me here tonight. And remember, nobody else can vibrate for you. It's up to you. It's your responsibility to raise your vibration for self-healing. And we can help you do that. So we'll be here again next week. And just take care, have fun, and bye for now.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.